A weekend mass shooting in a downtown office space raised new questions about how law enforcement can hold minors accountable for violent gun crimes. The shooting killed a teenager and wounded 11 other teens. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, just sat down with the U.S. Attorney to see how federal prosecutors can play a role in cracking down on kids with guns. Mark?
Mike, we got a lot of questions from viewers about this week. Federal law says kids cannot possess guns, not without adult supervision. But if kids are carrying guns, can federal prosecutors press charges? The answer was a bit complicated.
Our office does, in fact, prosecute juveniles federally, but we only do so in very egregious circumstances.
As the U.S. Attorney in Missouri's Eastern District, Sailor Fleming prosecutes more murder cases than almost any other district in the country.
When it comes to just the mere possession, while that is unlawful under federal law, it is very complicated under the federal system to prosecute that juvenile federally.
Law enforcement faces a dual threat in Missouri: the troubling trend of juveniles picking up firearms at a higher rate, and state law that drives a wedge between local and federal law enforcement. The Second Amendment Preservation Act threatens to sue local police officers who try and enforce federal gun laws in Missouri.
I know that ATF, as that we said in the lawsuit, has had difficulty with some police departments entering gun information, trace reports, things like that, information into their systems, which makes it very difficult for us to do our jobs.
As I've said before, the problem is not a lack of laws. The problem is a lack of law enforcement.
Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft is running for governor in the Republican primary. He said he would have signed the 2017 law dropping the requirement for a concealed carry permit, which included an age limit of 19 years old. We asked him about open carry on the record.
Should you be able to walk down the streets of urban St. Louis with an AR-15?
I don't see why it's a problem.
You don't?
No. The AR-15, the long gun, whatever it is, isn't the problem. The problem we have is with individuals.
As the city of St. Louis considers a crackdown on open carry, and in the absence of state laws that ban minors from carrying guns in the open, the U.S. Attorney says you can still face serious charges in federal court.
If we have a juvenile that has committed, like I said, a crime of violence, as defined under federal law, we will review that case and potentially prosecute it. And you will be prosecuted as an adult in that instance.
St. Louis police also believe they do have legal grounds to approach someone openly carrying a gun in public to ask if they have a concealed carry permit. And if they don't, an officer might issue a summons for a potential fine after a court date. But without legal means to remove that weapon from the scenario, that confrontation can put officers in a rather risky situation.
Mark, thanks.